Who in here has gone to therapy before? That's good. Good. That's a big number.
That is a big number.
Especially a big number that would admit it on television, because there was always a stigma. Me, I'm like, oh, okay, that's me. But there's always been a stigma with therapy, and now we're seeing a change. But you say what you're doing online is different. It's not therapy online.
Exactly. So I think the belief is, oh, there's a doctor, she's using Instagram, psychiatrist, that this must be treatment. And so it's not, right? Treatment is when you are sitting with your doctor, your psychiatrist, your therapist. They know your life, they know your symptoms, and they're helping you to address the symptoms that you have. I'm giving information.
Why did you choose Instagram as the place to give the information?
So I was using Instagram for a while during medical school. I was using it to share my life. You know, I'm a medical student at Weill Cornell's. I was showing my life in New York City. And as I continued to progress, people became curious about, oh, now you're a psychiatry resident. Can you tell me a little bit about anxiety or is this PTSD? So it was really my following that became very curious about my life. And so I chose to step out front and share the information that I was learning. We
have audience members who are going to ask questions, and while I go to find Amy and Scott, let me ask you though about whether or not, I always ask if everything's legal, because we're not going to jail today. But ethically, for a doctor to be giving this advice on Instagram, is that within the bounds of what you're supposed to be able to do?
It is. So again, I remind people it's not treatment. This is for information and to encourage people to seek therapy, to seek treatment. It's really just to serve as a stepping stone. And by any means, it is not treatment. And I really reiterate that.
Amy and Scott, you're right here. And if you have questions, we're going to get in as many as possible. I know you have a question for Dr. Jess. What is it?
We've been happily married for 25 years, but when a stressful situation comes up, we handle it so differently.
In what way?
He tries to ignore it, and I have to solve it right away.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
Now I'm trying to analyze it. So you ignore it?
I minimize the situation.
So you're like, nothing's happening.
I try to make it go away.
Is that so people have different ways of dealing with stress.
Absolutely. So first of all, congratulations, 25 years of marriage, right?
Yes, congratulations.
So, you know, obviously the two of you have some sort of synergy where you all are actually working through problems, I'm sure, challenges that come up over the longevity of your marriage. So, you know, I think it's important to know how each of you cope with stress, right? And it's important to remember that you guys can do it together. So if you're the kind of person that you want to face the problem head on and he's not, you might have to table some issues until later, right? You don't have to necessarily address them right away. And then for you, it may be realizing that, she might need a little bit more support from you if it's a particular issue. So I think it's going to be important to communicate to each other, is this really urgent? Is it something that we can tackle now
Does that
or
come
later?
from how we were raised? Because my husband is a talk it out person. I'm a shutdown. I'm a Virgo. I'm like, I'm going to laser point my eyes at you and we'll never discuss it. But I think maybe that's how I was raised. Does this come from how we were raised?
It absolutely can, right? So if you grew up in a household where problems were solved immediately, you talked about it, you might continue to carry that into your life and into your relationship with your husband. And if you were in a house where maybe, the issues were not addressed in that talking type of manner or solving it right away, you might find that it's not something that you would address right away. But each person is different. I think the most important thing to remember is you're a team, and that, it's important to think about ways to address the issues together.
Well, something's working. You've been in it for 25 years. Congratulations.